What is up, everybody? Today I'm bringing you guys a little video going over all of the Pokemon cards I actually got at the Pokemon International Championships held in New Orleans last weekend. I actually went there and traded a bunch of old expanded cards for new staples. So there's gonna be a bunch of new decks coming out, a bunch of tournament reviews, and basically I just wanted to go over all the cards I got and kind of why I picked them up. And I want you guys to let me know in the comments if you guys think I'm on the right track picking up some good stuff. The first thing I picked up was 4 Reversal Energy. Definitely think this card's a staple in a lot of the fun decks, especially a lot of the meme, anti-meta, single prize attacker decks I like to play. So I think this is a pretty cool card. I think picking up a playset of this is always going to be a good thing. I picked up another playset of Jet Energy as well. I picked up a lot of playsets of just random things. You never really know what you need. And trading, I actually think I got a lot of good value. I had a lot of tag team cards. I think Eevee Snorlax, I think I traded for most of the cards on this list. It's crazy how tag teams, it used to be $3 to $5 are now $100, $150. It's ridiculous how expensive some of these things are now. So I got really good value off a lot of these cards that were just sitting in my binder. Let me know if you guys want to see a full binder review at some point. I might be able to make something like that happen. I have a bunch of really cool old cards and I would not mind making a video like that. So going into some of the A specs here, I picked up a Prime Catcher. This was just $1 or $2, so you might as well pick one of these things up. Very, very cool looking card. I think all the A specs look absolutely amazing. I picked up an Unfair Stamp. I actually picked up 2 of these. Pretty cool card. Everyone likes this card. Very, very nice. Definitely worth adding to the collection, getting a second one, or I think 2 or 3 of those. I grabbed a Precious Trolley because, I think this is pretty cool. Being able to just always start your hands off correctly. Never a bad way to start the game. I picked up 2 new, actually, how many are in here? Yeah, there's just 2. I was going to say, there's 2 neutralization zones. I actually think it's a pretty cool card. Prevent damage to Pokemon that don't have rule boxes. I think it's actually a pretty cool A-spec. Definitely slept on, I think, in the current meta. I think it was just $1. So I threw these in with a bunch of the other stuff I was getting. I picked up an extra Fez. These are always great to have. I already had one, but, getting one of these guys, I got it pretty cheap. So might as well add this one to the collection. Next thing is going to be 4 copies of Cornerstone Ogerpon EX. Very, very cool card. I actually really, really like this whole deck. Prevents all damage from Pokemon done by your opponent's Pokemon that have an ability. So it prevents all damage from anything that actually is any good at the game. Very, very cool. And if we're going to be adding Ogerpon EX, we also got to be adding Farigiraf. I think I actually have a 4th one in here somewhere, but prevent all damage from this Pokemon by attacks your opponent's basic Pokemon EX. So I'm going to try and build that deck. Let me know if you want to see a deck around Ogerpon and Farigiraf, but I definitely think that's going to be coming soon. And then from there, I picked up a couple one-ofs of just random stuff I needed. I grabbed an extra Dragapult EX, since I already have a Dragapult EX deck. I might want to play a 4th one at some point, and so I picked this up super cheap. Dragapult's a great card. I picked up 2 copies of Squawkabilly EX. Definitely just a usable card, being able to hit your curve with the Squawk and Seize ability, not bad. I picked up 3 copies of Petrarun EX. I see a lot of the decks I've been running definitely using the Subjugating Chains, and I think this is a really, really cool card. So I picked these up super cheap. Again, I actually got all this stuff without ever having to trade. I didn't pay any cash for all this. I just traded old GXs and random cards out of my binders to random people and the vendors and stuff like that, and I was able to get what I wanted. So you got to remember all these things here, I haven't spent a cent yet, so I think that's actually a pretty good come up. Next 2 things, I got a couple Badoo, Itchy Pollen, good card, no energy, free retreat cost. I wish I got more of these. Everyone did not want to let go of these guys, so Badoo definitely adding. I got 8 copies of Arven. So 8 copies of Arven. I know it says $3 here, but I didn't pay anything. It was just from the case there. Just traded in to get it. So pretty good stuff. Just got 8 copies of Arven. Put these in decks. Arven's a pretty good card. Being able to search for basically buddy pop-ins, items, all that good stuff. Arven's great. I was able to get 3 copies of Revavroom with the Rumbling Engine. Pretty cool stuff, being able to hit your engines, being able to draw 6, and obviously I got 3 copies of the Vroom to go with it, so pretty cool stuff. I don't know what I'm going to play these in yet. If you guys have ideas for what to play Revavroom in, let me know, but I've definitely seen people talk about using it. Up next is going to be Genesect. I actually really like this card, being able to lock your opponents out if they have an A-spec. Being able to buddy poffin, or Arven for an item, and a buddy poffin, and then get Genesect with 1, just lock them out of that A-spec whenever you want. Very, very cool. I think this is a very, very niche card. I like Genesect a lot as a mon, so definitely having one that's viable is awesome. I picked up 4 copies of Crispin. I actually really like this card. Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards of different types, reveal them, put one in your hand and attach the other one to one of your Pokemon. It doesn't say like active or bench. I think energy acceleration on some decks is like nuts. This lets so many like weird bad decks, like rogue decks, actually see play in my opinion. So I think in the future, this card's actually gonna make something broken. Let me know what you wanna see that in though. I really, really like that card. I think that's great. I picked up 2 copies of Carmine. If you go first, you may use this card in your first turn, discard your hand, draw 5. So it's not as good as like a Professor's Research, but like you can use it on your first turn to help you hit your curve. So I picked up 2 copies. It was just kind of thrown in there and it's part of an extra deal. Not bad. Here we go. Brock scouting out one of these. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon or 1 evolution Pokemon, reveal them and put them in your hand, then shuffle your deck. So it's like a mixture of like, you know, Buddy Poffin and like an Ultra Ball, but in the supporter. I think some decks run one of at this card, so I figured I might as well just grab it since it was there. Another one of I got is a Briar. You can take an extra prize if one of your Terra Pokemon knocked out something. So this is actually somewhat of a good card, I think. I think it's actually kind of cool. I have a couple of these, but I got that kind of thrown in one of the trades I was doing. 2 Surfers here. Switch your active Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. If you do draw cards, you have 5 cards in your hand. So it's like a switch, but then you get to draw cards in your hand. So I actually really, really like that. I've been wanting to build like Iron Valiant EX, and I think this is a card that definitely makes that deck work a little bit. So very, very cool stuff. I got a copy of Defiance Band. If you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, the attacks of the Pokemon this card is attached to do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Very, very cool. Definitely a card worth grabbing with your Arven. And then I was able to grab 4 Earthen Vessels. I actually think I have a couple more in here somewhere. But basically discard a card in your hand and then search your deck for 2 basic energy cards. Very, very, very good card. This is super meta right now. And then I was also able to pick up 4 Buddy Poffins. I also got the Buddy Poffin that you guys get for entering the tournament. Let me know what that's actually worth. The like one that's like stamped from TPCI. Very, very good card. Search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less and put them on your bench. Then shuffle your deck. You can tell I'm just grabbing all the staples, right? I got 2 Technical Machine Evolution, being able to evolve stuff, very, very nice. And I got 2 Devolutions as well. I actually like this one a little bit more, but at the same time, I wanted 2 copies of each. And then going on to this next card, it's gonna be 2 Artisan. You can tell, like I said, it's all the staples here, but these are definitely things you just had to have if you want to be building like multiple decks for multiple different events like every single week. I got 2 copies of Luxurious Cape. I really like this card as well. The Pokemon this card is attached to doesn't have a rule box. It gets 100 plus HP, and if it's knocked out from an attack from your opponent, that player takes an extra prize card. I actually like this because sometimes letting them get that extra prize card enables you to use a bunch of those other mechanics that, like, say if you have less prize cards than your opponent. So I really, really like that. It lets you leverage advantage on board, and when they finally take you out, you basically completely like swing the game back in your favor. I like it a lot. I got 1 copy of this Pokemon League Headquarters. Attack used by basic Pokemon, both yours and your opponents, cost 1 more. Just a standard card. I think it's good. I picked up 4 copies of Fan Rotom, one of the best cards in the game. Once during your first turn, you may search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them, and put them in your hand. Then shuffle your deck. You can't use more than 1 Fan Call ability during your turn. So very, very good, helping you for hit your curve. I like Fan Rotom a lot. I think it's a great card. I had a couple extras of like the Defiance Band and the Earthen Vessel, just because like I picked these up in another trade. I have a Binding Mochi. I might have one other somewhere, but basically this goes in conjunction with that Petra and being able to get that free pivot and then do more damage than a Defiance Band, so I like that a lot. Counter Catcher, I got 2 of these. I think I have a lot of Counter Catchers just at home, but if you have less prize cards than your opponent, you can just pick one and bring them in. It's just kind of like Gust of Wind from back in the day. Definitely a good card. And then you can tell one of the decks I'm trying to make right now is going to be En's deck. So I got 4 copies of En's PP Up. Attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched En's Pokemon. Very, very cool being able to accelerate the energies there. I grabbed a couple more Buddy Poffins. Like, again, you can never really have too many of these things if you're going to be building multiple decks, in my opinion. Very, very good stuff. And a couple more supporters that I have here. We're going to be grabbing 4 copies of Iono. Basically, just shuffle your hand in your deck, both you and your, shuffle is our hand, put them at the bottom of the deck. Don't shuffle the deck, right? Put your hand at the bottom of the deck, and then if they put any cards on the bottom of the deck, that player draws a card for each of the remaining prize cards. So you can't get like the same cards you had before, and don't just shuffle it. It's not N. It's a different card. You'll get called. I got an extra Gardevoir EX because I have a Gardevoir EX deck already, but you never know if you want more of these, and this card's just going to get more valuable, honestly, as it just keeps winning everything. And then I got 3 copies of the Professor's Research. I already had 1 full art, but I wanted 1 more for the set, so pretty good stuff. And then I grabbed 2 Night Stretchers. These are like $6, but I didn't pay anything for them. I just traded for it. So they're expensive, man. But put a Pokemon or basic energy card from your discard pile into your hand. It's basically Verse Seeker, but for like not supporters. So I like that card a lot. That's one stack of cards that I got. Holy moly, I have a whole other stack of cards here. Let's start off with Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking. Search deck for 2 cards, shuffle your deck, then put those cards on the top of your deck in any order. So this card's like Mallow from, what set was that? All the GX times. But I really like this because you can do this with Trade Zoroark. So very, very cool stuff. I like this tech a lot. Mallow's one of my favorites, so I was happy to see this card get like a reprint and come back out. I got 2 copies of Power Glass. You can tell I'm definitely building like Ends deck here. At the end of your turn after you attack, so you have to attack, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to it. So you can like discard with like an Ultra Ball and then Power Glass back up. I really like that. I think it's a very, very cool card. And then I grabbed 2 copies of Enstar Manitan. Really like this card, really like Ends deck. Being able to use that Flame Body Cannon to just donk people early is nice. And yep, and because we got some Darmanitans, we got some Darumacas to go with it. Picked up all the stuff for Ends deck, I think. If I'm missing anything for that deck, please let me know, but I think I have all of it. We grabbed 4 copies of Zorua for Ends Zorua to evolve into Ends Zoroark. And then I have 1 Ends Reshiram right here. I just grabbed this because it was like $1. Reshiram's one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite arts. Really, really like this card. I think this is very, very cool. I'm happy this card exists. I grabbed a Hoopa EX because it was an easy pickup, and I've seen Ends decks play this card as well since it uses Dark Energy, and like, you know, that deck uses Dark Energy anyway, so I picked one up. And then I got 2 copies of Ends Castle. Ends Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponents, have no retreat cost. Definitely worth keeping this thing around. No retreat cost is value. From there, I got 4 of Ends Zoroark EX, and yeah, definitely worth it. This is one of my favorite cards. Love Zoroark. Trade's busted. Night Joker lets you use all the attacks from all of Ends Pokemon. Definitely worth keeping around. I think it's going to be a super fun deck when I finally put it all together. Going to the next thing, I got 3, I think I have 3 or 4 copies of Charcadet, but I don't think this is the good Charcadet. This is just one that I saw people have. It can go for a light punch for 10 damage, not bad, but I'm going to be trying to build Ceruledge EX. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I love the way this card looks, and I want to try building this deck, so if you guys have a list, please let me know. Ceruledge is going to be a lot of fun if I can get that built, so maybe I can in the future. Other decks I'm trying to put together are going to be Charizard, so I grabbed 4 copies of Charmander, just the base Charmander line with Blazing Destruction to discard a Stadium. The good Charmeleon, I think, is this one, the one with Flare Veil, to prevent the effects of attacks used by opponent's Pokemon under this Pokemon. So you still take damage, but like you don't take effects of attacks. So pretty good stuff. I think this is a good card. And then because we're trying to build Charizard, we just grabbed 4 Charizard EX. I still think this card's really cool. I know a lot of people think Charizard's like boring. It's been around forever, but since I'm coming back to the card game, I haven't got all that Charizard out of my system yet. I want to play this deck. I think it'll be a lot of fun. We grabbed also the other cards that go with that line. Going to be 2 Pidgey here. We're going to grab 2 Pidgeotto. I think there are better Pidgeottos. Please let me know if I'm wrong. And then I just grabbed a few Pidgeots as well. Like, might as well just have that whole line just good to go right there. You know, might as well just play with what you got, right? So the whole Pidgeot line. So Pidgeot Charizard is going to be a deck I'm going to try and put together. If you guys have a list, let me know. A couple other decks I'm going to be trying to build are Hops decks as well. So we got Hops Bag starting things off here. Hops Bag, search your deck for 2 basic Hops Pokemon and put them on your bench. Very, very usable card. We got Hops Choice Band. Your attacks used by Hops Pokemon cost 1 energy less and do 30 damage to your opponent. So this is like super good. This is like a choice. This is like a Defiance Band and Energy Acceleration all in one card. Love this. That's the card that makes the deck work. We got Postwick as well. Attack used by Hops Pokemon, do 30 more damage. Like, that's ridiculous. You're just doing so much damage with all of Hops Pokemon. I think it's absolutely ridiculous how much damage these things do. I think people are sleeping on Hops Zacian too. We picked up 2 copies of Cramorant here, Hops Cramorant. If your opponent doesn't have exactly 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, this attack does nothing. So good, like, single prize attacker for the mid game. I definitely think it's valuable and viable. We picked up 2 copies of Hops Snorlax here. Attack used by Hops Pokemon, do 30 more damage. And it doesn't stack, so you don't need to get like 4 of these guys. But man, like, so all your attacks are going to do like 90 more damage. Very, very cool mechanic. Deck seems very easy to play as well. I haven't really played it that much yet, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And because we're playing Hop, we're going to be picking up 4 copies of Hops Zacian EX. Insta Strike is going to be doing 120 damage if you have those multipliers on, and it does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. This is basically Buzzwole GX. Very, very cool card. I also really like the Brave Slash as an option. I want to try and build like Zacian and Archaludon as well. So that's a deck that I'm going to be trying to build. You can see, because I just said that, we have some Archaludon tech right here. We got 3 Duraludon, and then I picked up 3 Duraludon, but 4 copies of Archaludon EX. So, you know, we're going to be trying to make this guy work. I think this will be a pretty fun deck, all things considered. Assemble Alloy lets you, when you evolve, you can attach like 2 steel energy from your discard pile to any steel Pokemon. So if you're looking at like Zacian here, you just basically like cycle multiple Archaludons every single turn and make it so you can use this Brave Slash, and then you still have all the other Hops multipliers. So you're hitting for like 330 every single turn, and that's ridiculous. I think that's so cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to try and make this deck work. I think it's slept on. I think there's a good amount of energy acceleration in the format right now that can make it work. The next deck that we have is going to be 4 copies of Iron Valiant EX. The arts are different, but the attacks are the same. Tachyon Bit says, once during your turn, while this Pokemon moves from your bench to your active slot, you may put 2 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. I think it's a good card, and I think you just do that, and then you like Surfer or Switch or do something like that and bring out something else, and I think this is a very fun card. I'm going to be trying to make this work with like Roaring Moon and a couple other things, but I think it's very fun, and we're getting near the end of all of the haul. And remember, I didn't spend a cent, so I think this is super value. I splurged for this one. This is going to be the Journey Together Stamp Ends Reshiram. And I didn't have to like splurge for this, but look at that art, bro. It's so nice. It's perfect. This is like this is one of my favorite looking arts of all time. Love this. Love this. Had to pick one of these. I think it was like 15 in credit for that. Very, very cool card. Tatsugiri, I've seen people using this in just some decks recently. I picked up one. And then I got a few parts of other like cores. So I got the whole Duskull, Dusclops with Cursed Blast, being able to put 5 damage counters and you get knocked out. And then if you want to go all the way to Dusknoir, you can put 13. So very, very cool stuff. Just got an extra copy of the Dusknoir line. I've seen a lot of people use this stuff. I think it's good, so I figured might as well pick it up. It's pretty cheap. Speaking of pretty cheap, splurge for these Night Stretchers here. So this is my 6. I have 6 copies of Night Stretcher now. Not that bad. And I ended up getting 2 extra Blood Moon or Sonian EX. I see these guys teched as like a one-of in a lot of different decks, and you guys can tell how many staples I'm getting. Like, I hate taking apart decks to build a new one, so I just grabbed like a couple extra whenever I could. And I think that's definitely going to be valuable. I also grabbed a Mew EX. I don't know if I needed this for that many decks, but Mew's always valuable, and like genome hacking seems like a really like good move. So, and like the restart's like good. Like I think this is just a good card, and I don't know why it doesn't really see play. Seems like it could be splashed into a lot of different decks. So I picked up one, and I picked up a Chi-Yu here. This is the baby Chi-Yu. Just seen a few decks run this, and so I figured I might as well try and pick it up. Seems like it's a decent one-price attacker, single-price attacker. I got 2 iron bundles as well. These guys with a hyper blower are pretty nice, so I figured I'd pick up a couple of these since I saw them for cheap. And then I got 4 copies of Monkey Dory. This is the good card right now. Everyone's using this in like pretty much every single deck. And since I'm going to be playing like Ends decks and like Gardevoir and like a bunch of other stuff like that, I figured I might as well pick up some Monkey Dories. This is the card that like kind of makes the game go right now. So I figured I might as well pick some of those up. And then I picked up a Latias EX as well, since a lot of decks run this. Your basic Pokemon in play have no retreat cost. Very, very cool. I'm going to use this in a few decks, I think. And then the last card that I got was Brilliant Blender. I think it's a pretty cool one. It goes in Ceruledge, right? It's the A-Spec for Ceruledge. Search your deck for up to 5 cards and discard them. Very, very cool. I think this will be a lot of fun to play. So hopefully this is a pretty good haul. Let me know what you think about it. I think I got a pretty good haul considering I didn't really spend any money, right? I got a lot of staples. If there's any staples you think that I forgot, think about letting me know. You know, I have stuff like Ultra Balls, and if there's something that was like a, you know, a reprint, like rare candies and stuff like that from previous formats and stuff like that, I have all that stuff already. It's all new stuff that I really had to pick up, like Night Stretchers and Arvins and things like that. But I'm planning on making a bunch of cool decks based off the cards that I got here in conjunction with all the other decks I'm still working on as well. So if you're excited for that, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a sub, and other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and other than that, peace out. I'll see you guys next time.